together for him.
I thank you very much. I'm Saumya Joshi. I'm a playwright, a lyricist, a screenwriter, but above all, a theatre practitioner. And I use this term above all because I feel what I primarily do in my life, जिसको हम काम बोलते, that is theatre. And I also feel that in spite of writing 102 Not Out, a very popular Bollywood film, and in spite of writing an OTT show like Fadu, and in spite of writing dialogues and lyrics for national award-winning films like Hellaro, and in spite of writing a blockbuster Coke Studio song like Khalasi, I feel theatre is very much my profession. That is something that I do almost every day, and that is something that more often than not wins me my bread and sometimes my butter and jam and everything. Now, a lot of people find this to be very strange. They don't find it believable that theatre can be a profession. And it is evident when I meet people on flights and they ask me, "Kya karte ho?" When I say natak, their next question is, "वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन करते क्या हो?" And I tell them that if you find me to be well fed and comparatively presentable, theatre has brought me there. Now I can understand where this question and doubt comes from. I mean, people feel that there are so many sources of entertainment. There is cinema and there is television and there is OTT, where you can just sit on your couch or on your bed and consume content over home cooked meal. ऐसे टाइम पे why would anyone buy tickets for a play? But the fact of the matter is that we have been buying those tickets for centuries. My play Welcome Zindagi just completed 1,000 shows last week in LA. And that is how. So people have been responding to theatre like this for centuries. So why do we Indians love our theatre so much? And I think there are three very good answers to it. I think first is that we don't know, but we as people, as Homo sapiens sapiens, we love to have community viewings. We love to be in a hall full of strangers, and we love to laugh and clap and whistle and sometimes dance and sometimes, most importantly, cry with this group of strangers. That makes us the social animals that we are. But your argument would be that even films provide this. Well, there is a second reason then, that theatre is a live medium. And because it's a live medium, it is not only art, it also is a kind of an adventure sport. Because it's a live medium, you're not allowed to make mistakes as artists. And your audiences also know that an artist is not allowed to make a mistake. So by the time the play ends, both the artist and the audience gets this thrill of a bungee jumping or a skydiving. So apart from art, theatre provides you that thrill, that adventure. And the third very important point, and this is where I'm going to focus, is that we Indians as people, as a community, as a nation, we have theater very deeply ingrained, stamped in our culture. Theater is very rooted in our culture. You know, like Mahabharata and Ramayana, you don't know when actually you heard those stories, but you know the stories. Why? Because those great epics run in your blood. Similarly, theater runs in your blood. And to prove this point, I'll take you to Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. Have you heard about it? I think most of you must have heard about it. Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. It's a magnum opus. It's an incredible book on theater. Well, we can be very proud of it because you you have six great ancient civilizations. You have your Egypt, and you have your Greece, and you have your Rome, and you have your Babylon and Inca. Out of those, only two had developed theater, and that is Greece and India. और इसमें से एक में ही only one, that is India, has a magnum opus, a great book that is written on how theater should be done, how plays need to be performed. So great academic work has happened centuries ago in theater. Now it's a very comprehensive book, so I will not take you through it. But there is a myth that underlies Bharat's Natya Shastra. And I would very quickly love to narrate that myth. And this is very beautiful. We have great epics and we associate some myths with it. Any great work of art in India, we love to associate myths with it, that this is what happened and that's why then Ramayana was written, or Ganeshji wrote Mahabharata. And those myths are very beautiful. The myth that underlies Bharat's Natya Shastra is one of the most comprehensive and psychologically deep myth. And I would love to narrate it to you. Please lend me your ears. So what happens is that in Adikal, when we were Homo sapiens were hunters and gatherers, we needed to hunt every day. We struggled for food. There was incredible insecurity. There was insecurity because we had to struggle for food, one, and secondly, more importantly, we were not really out of the food chain ourselves. So that was also a problem, and that's why we were a very, very alert species. And then, of course, we formed groups, and then families and groups, and then the gram, and then the cities, what we call civilizations. And with the cities, we, for the first time, got a little bit of security because there was Rajya, there was governance, and there were godowns in which we could store our food. So we didn't have to go through these everyday struggles for food and survival. So we became secure. And the myth says that security brought one unique thing with it, one emotion that was completely unknown to our species, and that emotion was the emotion of boredom. So, it's an incredible insight that boredom is actually a luxury that security provides you. And people were experiencing it for the first time, and that's why they didn't know what it was. So they went to Lord Indra, and Indra took them to Brahma, and Brahma said that this is a completely new emotion. You don't know it. It's called boredom. And the boredom enters your existence through two senses. बिकॉज आप अलर्टली देख नहीं रहे हो और सुन नहीं रहे हो, आप नींद में भी जाग नहीं रहे हो, इसलिए आपकी आंखों में से और कान में से ये बोर्डम आपके एग्जिस्टेंस में घुस रही है. एंड दैट्स व्हाई you need a form of entertainment which is audio and visual form of entertainment. So you need entertainment which is audio, visual, live. Of course, everything was live then. So people said, how do we do that? So he said we would call Bharat from Prithvi, and I would set the rules, and that's how your theater will happen. So this is the myth that underlies the Natya Shastra. And it's an incredible myth because it actually talks about civilization and so on and so forth. And it goes very, very deep. But the point is that centuries ago, it was decided that we need to entertain, and that entertainment needs to be in the form of an audiovisual art. But if it's an audiovisual, three-dimensional live art, Bharat could have stopped at Nritya, because Nritya also is an audiovisual form of art. Then why Natya? Well, Natya, because we as Homo sapiens sapiens have this intense urge to tell and to listen to stories. And stories are an incredibly integral part of our life. And theatre has been providing great stories for centuries now. And that's why we have our Kalidas and Bhas, and we have our Shakespeare and Marlowe, and we have our Tennessee Williams and Eugene O'Neill and Arthur Miller, and we have our Girish Karnad and Vijay Tendulkar. And what do those great minds do? They tell great stories. What are great stories? Great stories are those that capture the essence of the time. Great stories, mighty stories are those that capture the era, the yuga. And these were the yuga drashta writers. Those writers told mighty stories, and that is why they lived longer for posterity. Now, how do you tell those mighty stories, or what makes you tell those mighty stories? And to explain this, I would again take you to a great play called Andhayug, which was written by Dharmavir Bharti. It was on Mahabharata. Actually, it is not on Mahabharata. It is on the last 18 days in Mahabharata. And it is not even on those 18 days. It is not about dharma and adharma. It is not even about Gita or any philosophy. It is just about the war. And the singular idea of that play is to show how war destroys and nothing else. And it destroys everyone. It destroys the loser and it destroys the winner as well. That's what the play wants to say. Now, in the preface to this play, Dharmavir Bharti writes a great line. He starts with a superb line which says, and this I think is very important for the modern day artists to understand. He says, अंधा युग कदापि न लिखा जाता यदि उसे लिखना न लिखना मेरे बस की बात रह गई होती. So what he says, it was not a choice. I had to write it. This play was begging for itself to be delivered. So this is how the great minds write, produce art. Great art is not written. it is actually released from your existence. It wants to explode out of your consciousness. And I think this is where our biggest challenge as modern day contemporary artists arise. Do we have this ambition, first of all, to tell a mighty, big, huge story that captures an era? Do we have this incredible world view? Do we have that intensity of experience that makes you pregnant with a mighty story? And do we have this potent consciousness? This is a very big question. And the answer is, it is doubtful whether we modern day contemporary artists are aiming at this higher grade goals. Why? Well, the rat race, the rush, the haste, the screens, the fragmented existence, lack of the quality and quantity of experience, and most importantly, this greed to broadcast ourselves as quickly as possible, to present, to exhibit. So, what is happening, unfortunately, is that this dream to build a Taj Mahal or a Kailas Mandir of Ellora, we are afraid to see this dream. Why? Because perhaps we can make an igloo out of snow in 2 days and it will glitter for a couple of days and get 10 million likes and die. And this is a problem. We are creating a lot of content, but we are creating dying content, a content that is destined to die. We are not looking, unfortunately, for mightier stories. And this is a major challenge. Now people blame it on the audiences. This happens very often. They blame it on the audiences कि यार audience को ऐसा ही देखना है, उनको रील्स ही देखनी है, उनको ऐसे ही नाटक देखने हैं, उनको ऐसी ही फिल्में देखती है. Don't fool yourself, dear artists, with this notion. Because look at Charlie Chaplin. He was a great entertainer, but he told mighty stories and lived for posterity. And a blockbuster hit. You look at your Shakespeare, and you must know that Shakespeare's greatness was recognized first by his audiences, sometimes known as pit class audiences. And then after 100, 150 years, critics recognize that he's a great poet and a dramatist. So audiences do not fail. We, artists, are failing, perhaps failing in our intensity of experience. And I think if theatre has emerged victorious out of most of the challenges, it has won against television, against cinema, against OTT also. Right now, theatres go full, but the major challenge is, are we doing theatre or any art for posterity? Are we telling great stories? This is a big question, and this is a question that I pose here for the artists. And if we, artists, address this question, then, as always, we will conquer the frontier. So that's what I wanted to say. Long live theatre, long live the audiences, and long live my priorities, which I feel and fear might change in this haste and rush. Thank you very much.
I would like to invite our core team member, Diya Patel, to hand over a speaker gift to Saumya Joshi.